like we're running. What's this button do? I shouldn't mess with settings when I am live, but here I am. Oh, interesting. Okay. Hello, Jesus and Orange Juice. Oh, I do not want to do that. Welcome to the live stream. Alright, hello everybody. I'm going to be sending out a quick message to the Discord, and then we're going to be going on a Q&A. Because I was going to talk about Gavin Ortland's video on Nick Fuentes, and I thought it was kind of bad. Not the criticisms I would have given about Nick Fuentes, and I don't think he really understood what was going on in the political landscape. I think he missed a lot. I was going to do that, but I realized that's just my usual shtick, so I might as well do something different. Writing an article about loneliness and unfulfillment, yeah, that is what a lot of people are feeling right now. Also, the furnace keeps screaming. Hello, Reformed Catholics. So my furnace might be actually screaming in the background. What is Ohio? Ohio is the Holy Land. Yep, we got Jesus and then people on the internet. That's not the healthiest arrangement, but half of it's good. Half of it is good. My thoughts on lotion. I think it's essential for proper skin health. And if there happens to be an ortho bro named that on the internet, he needs to log off and talk to his priest because he has problems. Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Anyway, I was gonna talk about Gavin Ortland, and he made a very bad video about speaking up against evil, and it's not that good. I don't know. Thoughts on Butter on the internet. um, Butter is a pretty funny guy. He built my Discord server, so shout out to Butter, because I'm a Discord boomer, and I would not have a server, which means I wouldn't be able to ping 100 people to start the live stream. And yet there's only 11 concurrent viewers. You all are terrible. Go shame my Discord. I should talk about Gavin first. Maybe. I might talk about Gavin and then go into Q&A. I don't know. Yeah, orthos need to stop being chronically online. Correct. This is a big problem specifically in the ortho bro movement. Why did I start this channel? I started this channel because I had a few funny clips of Redeem Zoomer. I had no idea where to put them, and I was like, I kind of want to do YouTube, so I might as well have a few clips out there. And then I thought, I joined Discord to join the Base Baptist server, ironically enough, and I'd never been on Discord before. And I went to the Redeem Zoomer Discord, and I saw there was this out of context section, and I gathered all these clips, and I was like, I might as well make a video, and it blew up, and so that's where we are now. Let's see. I don't know. Room is weird. Which number is more based, 6 or 7? I think it's 7. 7's a holy number. Yeah. Talk about Gavin once I get 16 viewers, then go back to Q&A. Maybe. We have 15 concurrent viewers. We need one more, but only one like. You all should be ashamed of yourselves. Yeah. Well, if you want to clip farm properly, you have to get 2 or 3 minutes worth of clips instead of just one. This is what I found. None of the Wilhelmius Van Diaper knockoff channels have realized you have to have more than one clip in a video to make it good. They just post one 30-second clip and expect to get more than 90 views. And I don't know. That's my word of advice. If you're a knockoff of me, all you have to do is go back through the Redeem Zoomer live streams for the last month and a half, because I've been too lazy to clip farm them. I could make another video and get 10,000 views. I'm just too lazy. And I'm not making money from this, so I don't care. And you can go back and beat me at my own job and make a better Redeem Zoomer out of context than any of you can do it. That's my word of advice. Drop it back to 14 viewers. We have 17. What's up with Gavin? clip farming my anti-Semitism. That's gonna be clip farmed. Go right ahead. W Wilhelmius. Yeah, it is not hard to be better than me. My channel is the most worthless content of all time. Legitimately, I try my best to be funny, but I really don't. I do not try my best to be funny. I don't put much work into my channel. I do need to prepare a couple videos, though, so my channel doesn't end up getting nuked or anything, because if you go too long without putting any videos out, you do get kind of nuked in the algorithm. Well, yeah, I'm glad you're listening to me rather than death metal. Death metal's bad. Do I play chess? No. So maybe I should play chess on a live stream. Should I go to bed or keep watching your stream? It's 11:30 right now. Go to bed. Read a book. Be productive. This is a waste of your life. You are wasting your life watching some random late teen just talk to random people on the internet. That's worthless. Get your sleep in. Okay, kids? I'm all of my No, I got more viewers now. Nobody left. Let's 1v1 on chess. I'll make a chess account when I can figure out how to show my screen properly. I was going to mess around with that before stream, but then I realized I had some stuff due tonight for school. And I did that instead because I don't want to fail. Am I the Super Pope? Yes. Yeah, you can challenge me to chess. Next time, we'll try to set up a time. I'll fight viewers on stream. You broke up with the golden retriever? Oh, that's sad. Best of luck to you, mate. Do I actually have Luxembourgish ancestry? Would I lie for the sake of my character? Would I lie for the sake of my internet character? Yes. So yes, I have real Luxembourgish ancestry. 20 viewers now. We are going up. Gonna read the Bible. Good. Leave. Stop watching my show. Your chess user is Jex9. I'll look it up if I get the chance. I need to remake my chess account because I don't think I have one right now. Opinions on the anti-super-duper-lapsarians. They killed the, that's the infra-lapsarians. They killed the original Van Diaper, so I don't like them very much. They murdered my hero. Hey, my viewers dropped. Okay, there is hope for the world. There's hope for the world. Is there a Methodist equivalent to Wilhelmius Van Diaper? Not yet. I'd have to think of one. What would his name be? Yeah, so the Methodist equivalent to Wilhelmius Van Diaper, is John... I was going to say John Steinbeck. That is a real person. You know what? It is John Steinbeck. And he wrote a lot of really pointless, bad novels that nobody liked. I'm going to get so much heat for that. All under Greater Albania. True. China. Should you try to hit on the German Shepherds? Yeah. They would be dating down. So, what you have to do to make it so a girl isn't dating down is just be an excellent man. That's all you gotta do. Open doors, wash your face, eat good food, work out, treat people well, read your Bible, love God. That's all you gotta do. So, then you won't be dating down. You know, like 3 Lutheran furries? What's up with that? Maybe they have a different type of autism. So, I know Redeem Zoomer likes to say the Lutherans have OCD, which is true. But OCD and autism go hand in hand. This is why the Reformed, who just have autism and no OCD, really like the Lutherans. And the Lutherans have autism and OCD. And some of them have super autism. So if you don't know this, autists tend to also be sexual deviants. Hence Karl Barth. But they also tend to, and, you know, if you're a sexual deviant, you also tend to be a furry. So that might play into it. What's my opinion on the Great Noticing? People are noticing a lot of stuff. I mean, I don't think we should genuinely hate people. It's just not good to hate anybody. But it is good to notice things. We should be noticers, yeah. When was Wilhelmius Van Diaper born? 1646. Yo, what's up? Oh, okay. Kid Fury is not a furry, guys. Yeah, the Zoomer, Ask Zoomer, the Methodist equivalent of Wilhelmius. Yeah, that's what we'll have to spring. Walter Heisenberg, Methodist. Yeah, Walter Heisenberg, the real Methodist. I agree. I like that. correct. I might actually have met one of my viewers. I won't say which one, but I might know one of my viewers in real life, and it's a very odd experience. Thoughts on pineapple pizza? I like pineapple pizza, and that is my one heresy. That's my one heretical opinion. What if the other dude, I don't know what the context of the question is. Is being a furry bad? Yes. If you're a furry, your fur will burn in hell with you. You don't know what your denomination is, you go to a non-denom church, but your theology is mostly Pentecostal. Well, if you're non-denominational, non-denominationalism came from Lutheranism, so go Lutheran. I'm recommending most people go Lutheran because Lutheranism has the best established confessional Protestantism within the USA. There's more confessional Lutherans than confessional Reformed Protestants, and I don't blame people for going Catholic. I just don't want them to, especially because a lot of people go Catholic due to effectively lies on the internet. Thoughts on analogies for the Trinity? So it is wrong to use an analogy for the Trinity per se, but if you were to use an analogy to explain part of the inner workings of the Trinity, you could do that. So, for instance, Justin Martyr describes the begottenness of the Son as an analogy to taking a torch from one fire and using it to light another fire, even though they are the same, one and the same fire. It's not a perfect analogy, but it's not an analogy for the Trinity as a whole. It's an analogy for the inner workings of the Trinity, and that's fine. Your friend dared you to cook 6 million cookies with only 52 ovens in 4 years. Do you think you could do it? You know what? Let me ask Claude. Claude AI is my friend. Let's see what Claude thinks. Let's see. I'm putting it in. The computer is thinking. What will it say? Oh, it's saying it's pausing. It did not like that question. Gee, I hope that question wasn't secretly hinting at something. Are horror movies gay? Yeah, they're pretty gay. 5 million cookies isn't enough. You want more cookies burned? Okay, that's... Burning cookies isn't good. You gotta say, they're better, a little crispy, but you can't burn them. I mean, they shouldn't be, like, crazy soft. They should be crispy with a little soft inside, which is hard to do. Fun fact: Hawaiian pizza was made in Canada. It's called Hawaiian. It's called Hawaiian because pineapple. America was framed. True. You don't have a Lutheran church near you? I highly doubt that. I highly doubt there isn't a Lutheran church near you, unless you're in the South, in which case, you should go Presbyterian or Southern Baptist. Those are both good. That's partialism, Patrick. You studied Orthodoxy? Yeah, Orthodoxy is weird. I think most of us don't like Orthodoxy that much. Claude Monet, Claude Debussy, or Claude Frollo? Claude AI. How can you be in good conscience recommend people to be Lutheran when I know very well that their denomination encompasses great theological error? So it's not great theological error, it's minor theological. I have very minor differences with Lutheranism. I cannot in good conscience go to a Lutheran church right now because I disagree with them on predestination. I don't think it's a damnable heresy at all. I don't have to agree with them 100% to recommend them. Theology is both true and practical. So when it comes to the truth, yeah, right now I am convinced that, Westminster Confession, 100% true, no exceptions, including the Pope being the Antichrist. But I can also admit that... Sorry, I just blew my nose into the microphone. But I can also admit that I like Lutheranism. Lutherans are Christians. I can recommend people go to those churches. Maybe that's a contradiction. Maybe I'm inconsistent, but I can still recommend that. There are even certain people I recommend go Roman Catholic, despite my disagreements. How do I like my steak? Raw. Okay. Oh no. What is wrong with my chat? You tried to hit on the German Shepherds. They all bit you and ran after you. Pray to Saint Jane Dyer to separate their essences from their energies? Yes. If they're running after you, maybe that's a good sign. What should you do if you accidentally caused Islam? Uh, repent. Georgia. Um, yeah, go to the Presbyterian Church. I'd recommend it. I'd recommend anything but non-denominational, honestly. And infant baptism is the correct view of the church for all of church history. So that's really the one thing you'd have to get over. And you could quibble about, oh, I don't quite agree with this or that, but that's not going to affect your average time in church. What you actually have to worry about is like what if you raise kids there? Your entire family almost converted to Eastern Orthodoxy last year. Well, that's interesting. I would never go from Protestant right to Eastern Orthodox. It's just not reasonable. It's just such an it's not a reasonable jump. It might be a logical jump for some people if they're convinced of its truth, but most people aren't switching to noms because of logic. What happened to FF4F? I have a previous live stream on this, which is still up and you can go watch, but he has apostatized. He's no longer part of the Christian faith. He's not joking about it. And yeah, it's very bad. Sad situation. So everyone in this chat should say a prayer for him, and I mean it. I don't mean in a vague sense where you're just going to sit around and be like, oh yeah, I'm vaguely going to think about FF4F. No. Pray for that guy. Pray for his soul. Yeah, Orthodoxy's awful. Just aesthetics suck. Western aesthetics are way better. Truk. Okay. I'm sorry, chat. I'm so far behind. I'm gonna jump to the front. Separate this man's essences from his energies. Yes. Well, Helmius does cook a better steak. But usually I eat my steak raw. So here's the thing. FF4F cooks a better steak because he's gonna cook it with the fires of hell. I'm kidding. That's so rude, but I love saying it. Can ministers smoke on pulpit? Yet an open minister that OPA minister that would. I mean, ministers can smoke, but not during a sermon. It's just distracting and rude. You want to make a Wilhelmius Van Diaper Discord out of context? Should you do it? No, I don't want to be. I don't want to be canceled off the internet because I said some things as a teenager. No, I'm kidding. Go for it. That'd be awesome. How do you stop? Okay, how would I stop the cookies from? Okay, I'm not gonna. Do I think black culture sucks right now? Yeah, objectively, and people are going to take this out of context, but culturally, blacks were in a better place during the Jim Crow era. They were much more devout. Their families weren't broken up. They didn't have gangs. This is just the case. We can cry all about the cultural evils, but objectively, they had a better culture then. This is just simply the case. And does that mean we should do the same sins that were going on at the time? No, but we should actually look to the good that was happening and find some way to bring that back. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care if you agree with me on black culture. I don't need people to validate my opinions. I'll have my opinion even if everybody hates me. You'll continue to go to the non-denom church on Wednesdays and the Presby church on Sundays. That's a good idea. I would recommend that. If you can, it's not unfaithfulness to go to another church on Wednesday or Sunday night. You might as well, but eventually you should commit to something. And if you're not committing to a theology and you're just trying to go both ways, it's wrong. But it's not unfaithfulness to go to, as long as you're not going to a Catholic church and a non-denom church and you're taking communion at both, then you would have to be a liar. Would I attend a Catholic church that is 5 minutes away from your house, or the nearest Protestant church, which is 5 hours away? I would found a new church. No, I'm kidding. I would probably drive 5 hours. Probably. Here's the thing. I could attend service at a Catholic church, but I can't have communion there. And I need communion. So I would have to drive 5 hours. Stop tapping the mic? Am I tapping it? Stop moving the mic? Well, I'm sorry. There's not much I... Give me a second. Give me a second here. It's still moving. It's moving even more. Give me a second. Just stay still. No, this is the best audio quality that you're getting. Do I think aliens are real? Yes, and if aliens proper, humanoid, highly intelligent aliens exist, I think they would be made in the image of God. It's only logical. Unpopular opinion, but maybe some pastries belong in their own baker. Okay, stop. It is funny, but not while I'm live. Protestantism is dead, guys. You're an Eastern Orthodox version of Nietzsche. You're gay. Protestantism is not dead. It is the fastest growing version of Christianity. Technically Pentecostalism, which isn't Protestantism, but it's an offshoot from us. And Protestantism is growing, Catholicism is shrinking. Catholicism itself is contradicting itself and clearly going much more ecumenical, which I think is good and bad because we shouldn't be ecumenical with Muslims and Jews, but we should be with all other Christians if we can, without compromising in our beliefs. And Eastern Orthodoxy has been dead since forever. It's your entire country was literally like all of Eastern Orthodoxy was literally bought and run by Jewish Bolsheviks in Russia. So the distinctions you thought of to deal with the race issues on this ontological superiority and moral superiority. No one can say they're ontologically superior to someone since we're all made equal. Yeah, we're all made equal in the sight of God. So. Thoughts on dating a Lutheran girl as a Luxembourgish Reformed Episcopalian? I've reasoned with myself that here's the thing. I value a girl being Christian and a good wife over Christian and agreeing with me on every single issue. I would be absolutely willing to date a Lutheran girl if she was willing to do things like wear a head covering, which I'm convinced from Scripture that is what a Christian woman must do. And you need to find a good submissive wife. This is how things are supposed to go. We must find women who follow the rules of sex piety, who act like women, and I would put that over theologically agreeing on every point. As a 13-year-old, what is the best solution to bad influences at your church? There's a group that only cares about causing issues. Here's what you do. You call them out on literally everything, even if it's stupid and annoying. So what I found, I had some friends who were bad influences, but I would always call them out all the time. And they just stopped. They stopped hanging out with me, and I felt kind of bad, but I don't know. The Dutch Reformed is the one true church, guys. Submit to Dort. Real. Well, Catholicism is becoming syncretist, and it is changing doctrinal beliefs. Look at everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks. We've had Muslims, Hindus, and Jews worshiping in the Vatican, and they changed their opinion on Mary as mediator. Now, technically, the theology didn't change that much, but you're not allowed to use a title. That is a change in theology. This title is prohibited by the Catholic Church. So it is changing. Leo is clearly an ecumenist, and I think that's good in some respects, as an ecumenism is good between other Christians, but it is not good between other religions. Your ex veiled, well, your ex is your ex. Women should veil, but if you know a girl who doesn't veil right now, and you get into a serious relationship, just be like, hey, I'm convinced from Scripture, and I would want my wife to follow me in this, and I would like you to do this, and if she says no, you say, okay, then we just can't get married, and you break up with her. Wilhelmius ain't getting a girl. Correct. A Protestant who wants head coverings, you're shocked. Don't be. Every Protestant believed in this until, 60 years ago. And there are many Protestants who still hold to it. So, the question, Rim said something about sessions in your basement with... okay, I don't know what's going on with her. Teaches a more... Okay, I don't care what the Oriental Orthodox mean, even though I do simp for Miaphysitism. Yeah, if you're 13, get off the internet. There's nothing good here for you. There's nothing here for you. Gotta go, bye. Goodbye, player GD3. Luckily, you didn't try doing these 5 years. Sadly, you only got 271,000 cookies cooked. Should I just lie to my friend and say I did it anyway and make it illegal to talk about it in certain places? Real. Yeah. Well, you're 15 in a month. Still, we all should spend less time on the internet, but especially if you're 13. What are you doing? Would you be a good pope? Unironically, Base Crusader 69 would be a great pope. Must wear burqas. Yeah, real. Burqas are traditional Christian garb for Christian women. They're not a Muslim thing. We must retake them. Alright, shut up, heretic. Real. Have you guys actually taken a break from Discord? I have vaguely taken a break. I still go on like 2, 3 times a week, maybe more like 4 or 5. But I've cut it down. I haven't been on it in the last day and a half or so. I'm trying to just get completely off of it, but I have to actually run my Discord, which means I have certain requirements. Here's what you've been struggling with. Should unmarried wear veils too, or just married ones? Yeah, because if you're a woman, you're always in some type of submission to a male authority. It's not always the same submission. So if you're a daughter, you're in submission to your father, which is not the same as being in submission to your husband. Or if you don't have a father, you're in submission to your priest or pastor in some way, and you're also in submission to Christ, who is a man. So yeah, and a veil is a sign of male, of being under male authority and in submission. So I would generally say that, but follow your conscience on that, and look to church history. Can I send you more videos? Yes. Guess your regal name. You would be... What would you be? You'd be Pope Bigachungus. I'm not dealing with Oriental Orthodoxy or whatever. Should one be fully transparent? No. Here's the thing. If you get a girlfriend and you start going to church together, just talk to her about it. Be like, hey, I'm convinced from Scripture. If we were to get married, I would want you to dress like this, and I would like you to do it, now, ideally, because I want you to know that you're a woman who is willing to submit to my authority, and that you would do that, because that's what you need to have a good life. So, you don't necessarily need to be, like, on the first date going, I believe in head coverings. Can I have your Discord? Yeah, let me put the Discord server in the chat. How do I buy Pac-Man? I don't know. Here, everybody. Go ahead and ping me 5,000 times. What's my favorite food? Probably pizza. Do I know you? I don't think so. What's my opinion on The Sopranos? I don't care. Guess your real life name? Jared. Meophysitism is based, though. It kind of is. That's honestly a reason I would consider being Lutheran, because it's kind of similar. It's the most similar to Meophysitism while still being Diaphysitism. Hello, homosexuals. Hello, Saint Grandpapa Furry. Hello. Did I actually guess your name? Is it actually Jared? That'd be funny. I have a weird urge to submit to the infallible authority of Super Pope Richard Ohio Ackermune. True. I do believe the ESV says wife in 1 Corinthians, but NKJV says women, so I'm a bit confused. Yeah, I don't know. I would look to see if you could find any historical quotes on this and just go with what the church has taught through history. This is an issue that doesn't really divide any denomination, so we can't just look to the church fathers and just agree. All of chat vote against shorter shorts on women pandemic. Yeah, women need to wear longer shorts. Longer ones. They're at the point where they're just underwear. It's disgusting. If your shorts are more than 3 inches above your knees, you're sinning, probably. Oh, I see. Well, I guess your dad's name, so that's cool. You don't want to debate head coverings because you're Orthodox? Yeah, well, if you're Eastern Orthodox, you just have to wear, if you're a woman, you have to wear head coverings, so. That is just a requirement in the Eastern Orthodox Church. Your fruit juice? No, you cannot have ownership over my server. Meophism is based. I can't resist it for long. Well, I can. There's no Protestant denomination that actually believes in it. Guess your real name, Base Crusader. Something Asian. Is it Jackie Chan? Have you guys even talked to women? I had so much riz back in my day. I believe you, Saint Grandpapa Furry. I love that you're sainted while you're still alive. Very logical, makes sense. I believe it. Yeah, we don't talk to women in this chat. You disproved Meophysitism with 2 chats. We're not... This is not a theological debate. But I'm good for you. Good for you. Go to your local Oriental Orthodox church and destroy their faith. Your ancestor. I did see the Discord message that you sent. I did. There should be no visible skin on women. Correct. None whatsoever. If you're a woman and I can see you, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? You could cause a brother to stumble and lust at you if you can be seen. It's obviously evil. Can I steelman Catholicism? Yeah, so my best steelman of Catholicism would basically be to say liberal Catholicism is correct in that we don't necessarily have to take the individual claims of Catholicism at the highest level. There could be contradictions, but there's always development. So whatever develops and has been declared by the church is true. Now, can it all necessarily be proved from history? No. But there is this, external authority that you need to guide you through the world, that you need to guide you through the scripture. Even if it's wrong, you need a full, infallible, external authority to yourself to submit to that can actively interpret the scriptures. So that would be how I would steelman Catholicism. Yeah, there are 3 females on my Discord. It's annoying. You need your help. You feel the urge to submit to Pope Bob or just to Bob. Help me. Yeah, submit to Bob. Skirts are already perverted because of movies. I mean, they don't have to be. How to stop your Tylenol addiction? No, Tylenol addiction is good because you can stop your wife from eating them, and then your kids will be cured of autism. Monarchy is based, democracy has failed. Yeah, this is the truth. Every single democracy has failed within a very short period of time. And every successful government is a monarchy, including, businesses. Or at least they're hierarchical in a way that democracies are not. Democracies are egalitarian, which egalitarianism is just wrong. I don't, hate democracy. It can work within the confines of a Christian people. But we don't have that. We have, 40 million illegal immigrants and 20 million legal Muslim immigrants, plus, more illegal ones. It just doesn't work because they're not a Christian people. If we all agreed on the basis of our morality, which is Christian ethics and the Bible, we can actually start voting on things, and we can self-police our own people, and we don't need as much government. But when you have no people who can agree on morality, you need an external unit to arbitrate between them and enforce morality. And you can't do that through democracy. You must have a king. Would I rather become Catholic or shave off all my hair and get branded? I'm gonna shave off all of my hair and be branded with, on the top of my head, be branded with the number 67. I'm not going to read that comment, but it's so funny. You actually take Tylenol at school, then you hide every day in your backpack. You don't want to build up a Tylenol tolerance, but, I guess if you need it. Where does one find a based trad prot woman? You're going to have to look everywhere, dude. Check every church, every confessional church, and here's the thing. If you are Protestant, you can date across Protestant traditions. It's simply, sometimes it has to be done. And, I'm not a pastor, so again, talk to your pastor. But as long as you're not a Baptist, you can, if you're a Baptist, or, if you're, let's say a Presbyterian or a Lutheran, you could date, a trad Methodist girl or an Anglican girl. You could do that. But if you're a Baptist, you basically can date, a non-denom girl or another Baptist girl, because you're going to have to decide what to do with, with your kids. How do you stop chugging the acoustic guitars? On the other term, I think that Holy 4 should be canonized. I don't know how to help you. We'll go back to the base prop woman question in a second, but what is my view on ethno-nationalism? So I think nationalism is correct in that it's the rightly ordered love towards your nation before other nations. And there is some sense in which you should love your kin, your ethnos, your people. But we have to recognize that, I have a closer connection to Germans than I do to other white people in terms of, genetics and ethnicity. Like, I am the same ethnicity as them, as well as the Welsh, which is a form of British. I know, I'm part British, gay, real. But, if we fully want to say our nation is only one ethnos, we're going to have a problem because it's just not true of any nation today. I think maybe it was fine a couple hundred years ago, but it's just not practical. Do I not see usernames? I don't know. How hungry would I have to be to eat a fried seahorse? Not that hungry. It sounds good. So where do you find a base trad prot woman? Again, this is why I'm recommending Lutheranism, because Lutheranism is the largest group of confessional Protestants in the U.S. And confessional Protestants are the most trad Protestants. They're the most based one. Yeah, I'm a real goy. I'm like Pinocchio. I'm a real goy. Let's see. You're almost 20 years old. Most prot women wear shorter shorts and listen to elevation worship music and try to be likable to young men to sleep around and sin. Yeah, run away from those women. Those are the evil women from Proverbs. Here's the thing. If you're going to be hunting for women, you have to be willing to say no to any of them for any reason. And that's going to be hard. Yeah. But we also have to recognize that Protestantism is not just non-denominationalism. There is a base Protestant church in your town, and it's like 3 boomers and 1 young family, and they have a young girl. Your age, probably. And you'll be able to find one. Thoughts on musicals? I love my favorite musicals, La La Land. I think that's a good musical. In general, musicals are kind of annoying, but La La Land might be a top 10 film. Okay, I can't read all the comments about cookies. There's too many. And that will get my career ended for laughing at them. Not that I really care, but I do want to actually, over the summer especially, refine my show, make it into an hour-long program. See, I know, I'm doing what every young white dude does and starting a podcast, but I have an audience, so I can do it. Opinion on trans racism. Asian turns to Caucasian, black turns into supernovas, etc. I mean, I think it's fine. Race is kind of a made-up concept. Ethnicity is actually real in that we have different ethnos and different peoples. But like, if you're just gonna say white as a race, that's the most vague category of all time, and it's inconsistent. It makes no sense. Will I take a DNA test? And if you did, what were my results? I haven't taken a DNA test because I don't want the government to frame me with my DNA. But what I will say, I'm mostly German, a little bit of Irish, a lot of English, a lot of Welsh, and some of the Nordics. A little bit from all the Nordics, as well as some from Russia. So I might actually have some Bolshevik Jew in me. La La Land? Yeah, La La Land is a based musical. What if you're in a random African country? I don't know. Do your best where you are. Almost all the girls of the 14 wear shorter shorts and literally flirt with everyone at your school. Yeah, don't date girls at a public school. You gotta find the homeschooled girls. They're the only ones who are actually modest. Yeah, go find a homeschool confessional Protestant girl. You're gonna be way better off. And here's the thing too. You might also have to date a Baptist woman. You might. They're some of the only, yeah. Yeah, we have 20 viewers. I think it says 615 for me, but Luxembourg first. Yes, Luxembourg first above America. America second. America is second to Luxembourg. Okay, people. The only reason I'm loyal to America is because it's loyal to Luxembourg. Can I tell the difference between a cookie by the structure of its skull? I mean, with cookies, despite the fact that they don't have skeletons, you actually can tell the difference just by a structure and like the X-rays. So yeah. Should Luxembourg buy Alaska? Luxembourg should buy Canada and nuke it. You fleet the Trinity and the Theotokos, not a stupid nation claiming to be God's land. Yeah, true. Well, see, Israel is God's land, but more specifically, it's Christ's. And if you reject Christ, it's you have no claim to it, no religious claim to it. You might have a reasonable natural claim to the land, but you don't have a religious claim to the land. And the natural claims are not that good. We had 21 viewers. It's true. Yeah, no, I like Baptists a lot. Baptists are quite great. The problem with Baptists is they don't baptize their babies, but here's the thing: white evangelicals are the lone bulwark against cultural degeneracy in America. Probably seconded by Lutherans. The problem with Lutherans is they culturally cut themselves off, and then Catholics after that, and then confessional Protestants slightly after, or the confessional Protestants who aren't Lutherans, followed then just by regular people who, of course, are degenerates, and then atheists who are the worst degenerates. What was considered, yeah. Well, the thing is, there was autism through all of history. It was just called by different names. Autistic. You guys want me to talk about autism for a while? You have any autism question? Do I believe in evolution like Redeem Zoomer? I have a qualified belief in evolution in that it could easily be proven wrong. So the problem with evolution is you have all these data points, and each individual mechanism to make it correct is true, but can they be shown throughout time? Can you extrapolate them mathematically? And there's mathematical problems with it. What was that pause? It might have just been the stream buffering. Southern Baptists believe for Catholic theology. Yeah, Baptists have a problem with thinking Catholics aren't Christians, and I like to bully Catholics, but it's all in good fun. I just want them to be better at debating and not lie. But yeah, there's definitely a cultural problem where we Baptists tend to dunk on Catholics for no good reason. They don't really know what they're talking about. But then again, most Catholics, we're talking over 70% in America, don't really practice their faith or attend church, and they believe in things that are anathema in the Catholic Church. There's no Protestant huzz. Okay, first of all, huzz is a bad word. Second of all, that's not true. Okay, you think you're going to find a devout Catholic girl? Over 50% of Protestants, regardless of denomination, are devout weekly church attenders. Okay, if you're going to go Eastern Orthodox or Catholic, it's less than 30, sometimes even as low as 15%, depending on which area of the nation you are. There's far more Protestant women in America, just by statistics alone. It, it's an easy thing. How do I feel about the rise of non-denoms in Africa? I'm just glad about the rise of Christianity in Africa, but they need to become denominational. Yeah, there's no orthodox huzz either. How severe is your autism test? So if you go to the psychologytools.com autism test, the higher the score you get out of 50, the more autistic you are, and I got a 46. So that's how high. Buenos dias. Hello. I'm like Master Yoda, and you're like Luke. True. True. I'm slowly mentoring you until we both become Lutheran. You're talking to someone at your school for months and she really likes you. If it's been 8 months, dude, you'll either make a move or move on. Okay? I don't know how old you are. If you're like 17, going on 18, go for it. If you're 16, talk to your parents first. Talk to her parents. If you're 15, leave it alone. Go live your life. Go get your heart broken. Live your life. You don't need a girlfriend if you're 15. What did she said no and kept flirting with you? Okay, we'll leave her alone. That means she is. I'm not gonna say what bad word she is, but not very good. She's not a good woman if she's still flirting with you after saying no. Um, Obi-Wan and Anakin. Oh, dude, I love the prequels so much. I like being called Obi-Wan. That's awesome. Okay, except that means you're gonna turn evil. But you will redeem yourself in the end. So you're gonna go on your villain arc on the internet and just like spam things about Jews on every single live stream, and then you're gonna come out and you're gonna get afterwards revived. You'll get married, and you'll perform a W, and somehow I'll get married too. Classic Reformation W. True. We have more women. We have more devout people. Reformed Protestantism is based. I sound vaguely Canadian. Vaguely. I am in a very northern state, and I have also I have New York speaking affectations because of Redeem Zoomer. When I get mad, I speak in a New York accent because I watch so much of his content. Based Lutheran Crusader. Real. What's my opinion on Fight Club? I need to read the book. I mean, you'll probably turn Catholic first, but you'll change someday. The spamming part is based. What do you mean? Yeah, real. He's gonna come out. Poor choice of words. Low key hitting on you. Should you tell her to take a hike? I mean, it depends on how old you are. Because if you're like 14, 15, yeah, tell her to take a hike. But if you're 18, I mean, it's a reasonable age gap. So I mean, it really depends. But yeah, if you're like mid-teens, yeah, tell her to take a hike and leave you alone. Come on, Zoomers, it's redeeming time. You missed most of this. That is okay. It will be up. We're answering questions now. I've got to be Midwestern. Maybe I might be Midwestern. How am I Eastern Standard Time, but also Midwestern? That is the mystery of the world. What's my thought on early Christian art? So the thing about early Christian art is we don't have a ton of it. It's really over-exaggerated, and almost none of it is what we see with icons today. And the earliest depiction of Jesus that we have is actually of a mockery from pagans. So for some reason, Christians were around long enough that pagans were mocking them and the idea of Christ being crucified on a cross, but their images are older than the Christian ones, which is kind of a damning case for the iconophiles when you see that icons are so much later. Should you riz someone up on Discord? No! No, don't riz someone up on Discord. You're from Missouri? Yeah. Missouri is not Midwestern. I don't care who tells me otherwise. Stop getting the Midwestern accent out now that you pointed it out. Whole family is from the Midwest. That's crazy. Yeah, my accent does periodically change while I'm streaming because I'm trying to figure out exactly my voice here. Michigan is the answer. I'm not a Muslim, so I don't live in Michigan. Alright, people. We got about 5 minutes left here. Get your final questions in. And again, this is just a chill stream. You can literally ask about anything. So I do sound like RZ. It is true. I have developed voice affectations based off of him, and I tell people too that now when I'm like mad at silly internet drama, if I'm fake yelling at it, I will do it in a New York accent, and I will be like, "That's so stupid," and I'll say it like that because I just love the way he freaks out at things. It's so funny, and I've developed it, and it's part of my persona now. But I think it works because I'm literally just my whole content is based off of him. And I think it works. I think it makes people more familiar. It draws them into the stream because they think, "Oh, this guy kind of sounds like RZ here." And it draws them in. It's reverse psychology. How rizzy is ibuprofen? Not as rizzy as Tylenol. Dutch Reformed is a Christian holdout in Michigan? Real. That is true. If you ever go to Michigan, there are Dutch Reformed churches everywhere, and it's beautiful. Being raised, yeah, Southern accent. Actually, I don't mind a Southern accent. We need to keep them going. It's like Mark Twain had a Southern accent. He was a pretty smart guy. The whole myth of the Southerners being stupid is just because after the Civil War, their country was destroyed, and they really didn't have the resources to educate people properly. But now we see, what is it? Mississippi has the highest literacy rate in the entire country because what they did is they said, let's take out all these innovations that we had in teaching people reading over the last 50 years, and their literacy rate went from 15% to 70% in like 5 years. So, yeah, just do that. What if I use the Kingdom Crap dupe glitch to dupe the diapers? Real. I'm the Dylan Riola to the Pat Mahomes. That's so true. I am the mini zoomer. I'm the zoomer who's slightly further to the right, but I got an earlier start on him. 'Cause I'm starting younger, both in my theological journey and then on my YouTube. So we'll see where I am in 5 years. Hopefully, I'm rivaling him. I'll have 1.7 billion subscribers. The entire Catholic Church will subscribe to my YouTube channel because Pope Leo will infallibly declare it as necessary for salvation. I sound like uh, Jesus and Fruit Juice guy on Discord. No, but that's funny. Your accent sucks. It makes you sound stupid. You sound like... Okay, just lean into the southern accent. Trust me. Trust me on it. Regional accents are great. We are from places in America that have real voices, real ways of speaking. Live up to it. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, become a Lutheran. Become Lutheran. It's true. Become it. Why are you being compared to WVD? Apparently your voice sounds similar. I don't know. Maybe you're like me and you go crazy with your voice affectations when you're talking on camera, and so you'll kind of sound like this. Oh, maybe you do that. I'm hoping if I keep my voice going and I'm basically this weird mix between a New Yorker and like a Canadian, and you really keep it going there, you'll get a great personality. People will really like it. If I could see right through you, then you could see right through me and look up inside a single stare. Thoughts on these lyrics? I don't understand them, but they're quite interesting. You need double... Okay. Well, transubstantiation is philosophically weak. We all saw that comment. We all saw... And if you didn't see the comment, Sans is cool 12 just said he was gay. So, we all saw that. We all saw that there. You know, so trans sub is kind of weak, and philosophically speaking. But double predestination, I get it. But ultimately, there are okay. You misclicked. You spelled out, but I'm gay. That's not a misclick. I'm looking through you, but you're not there. I'm looking through you, but the words aren't there. I don't know the song. That's not the lyrics. Yeah. You love transubstantiation. Well, transubstantiation does not equal real presence. There's more to real presence than transubstantiation. But here's the thing. I'm fine with transubstantiation. I think it's just wrong. As long as you don't bind the entire church to it, and you don't say that's the only mode of real presence, it's stupid. What it is stupid. Yep, I won't say the line, but that is funny. We need to debate trans stub. Maybe I can convince you. That is something I need to look up. Aaron Burr, sir. Yeah, real. Communion with Christ over communion on Christ. Real. Oh, do you mean like con sub with Lutherans, or I'm confused on your comment? Yeah, it is true that, but yeah, there is a problem with Catholicism in that they have bound the entire church to believe a late philosophical theory that's not exactly sound. I'm fine with it in theory. Like, if some people want to believe it, that's fine. But, binding the church to it is wrong. What's the Luxembourgish Reformed Episcopalian view on the Eucharist? So the Eucharist can only be rightly administered in Luxembourg and Ohio. And when you have the Eucharist, you also eat Mary. Okay, what is 30 plus 30 times 2? What? Okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna copy this, and I'm gonna write it out. Don't ask me math questions on stream. I don't want to do homework on a live stream. Yeah, Reformed Catholic is quite Sigma. I have not ever played Geometry Dash. Not 6 million cookies, correct. Not 6, it's not 6 million cookies. It was never 6 million. Eh. Well, that's broken. It's 6-7. I figured it was 6-7, but I don't want to get it wrong and look stupid, but I think I look stupider for not doing the math. Alright, we are about 5 minutes away from an hour. Just a chill Sunday stream. I was going to go on my schtick all about people punching right. And I was going to talk about Gavin Ortland's just horrible video talking about Nick Fuentes. And maybe I will. Maybe I'll talk about it for a minute. But basically, my whole criticism is the same as my criticism for Ben Shapiro. And I don't want to just keep repeating myself, because all he did was say Ben Shapiro's criticisms were correct. And, well, Ben Shapiro has a point that Fuentes has moral problems. Ben Shapiro really isn't one to talk there. It's just not true. Like, you know, he didn't attack any of Fuentes' actual ideas, which is what we need to be doing, because I think most people can recognize that Nick Fuentes is a very immoral person. Like, again, he's not a moral person. He has many moral issues he has not repented of. But he's very politically smart, and we need to actually deal with his ideas. You have to wake up at 4:30 to go to the gym. I should make you a mod? I should make you a mod. Yeah, waking up at 4:30 to go to the gym is based. Let's just say, hypothetically, you were dear Mr. Hamilton, and John Adams didn't stand a chance, so who are you promoting? I wish I was John Adams. He's one of my favorite presidents. I hate Alexander Hamilton. Alexander Hamilton will burn in the pits of hell. No, I'm kidding. I don't know for sure, but it's likely. I hope that wasn't picked up on camera or audio. Yeah, so I'm thinking next time I probably will make you a mod. Should you use your war crime Riz? Yes. Yeah, Hamilton was a very bad politician. So I'm thinking next time I'm going to figure out exactly how I can get this to work. Ooh, interesting. Okay. Because I do want to start playing games on stream. I think it'd be more interesting than just looking at my beautiful icon here. Ooh. Jesus and Orange Juice is still technically catechumen and not member of the Catholic Church. That is... Okay, I didn't mean to dox him like that, but yeah, that's true. Yeah, anti-small hat cookieism. You want to be a mod? Yeah, you can't really talk about that on the server. I just don't want it to get nuked. Again, I'm mostly behind you, as long as we don't go into actual racial hatred. Get clipped, Van Diaper. Real. Hypixel? No. I like Minecraft, but I don't have it on my computer right now. Long story. I just bought it so many times. It's crazy. And I bought it on every single device that I own. And, except for this computer. And I need to buy it again, and I don't want to do that. Anyway, this is just a chill stream. We've got about 10 people watching, so if you have any questions, keep it secret like the cookies. Spend $200 on DLC. Real. And, almost at an hour here. Then we'll probably fix up, or finish up. Not much going on. Again, rather worthless content. Just some background content for you. Hello, Bill Helmia Stan Geiper. Okay, this is the funniest thing. I never thought that my parody account would have a parody account, but it's kind of genius. The anti-Catholic ortho rule. Oh! Okay, yeah, that's true. I do actually, my server has a rule about no Catholic mods, except for the Catholic mods. In general, I don't want any, but I do trust Base Crusader 69. Subscribe to his channel if you haven't, it's great. He makes great content. He just needs to make it all in a longer video. It is Israel's fault that you don't have a girlfriend. Whoa, what was that? Yeah, it's fine if you're honest. True. Yeah, it is correct. It is Israel's fault you have no girlfriend. It definitely, it's not just because you're autistic and all the women around you don't want to date you. It's because of Israel. What is my shtick? So, my last few streams I've been talking about people who are really punching right and they don't know what they're talking about with the people further right wing, or the people like Doug Wilson who are going, "Oh no, you can't be more edgy than me, you little youngster, because I built my entire career on being edgy and saying slavery was good every single November and not explaining it until December. But you say one bad thing about Jews and it's too edgy." You know, that type of people. And people who are punching right. You're not autistic, you're Lutheran. As we discussed, hang on, I'll get back to that. I need to finish my thought. So yeah, that's been kind of my shtick, and I was going to talk about Gavin Ortland, and he made a video talking about Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes, and I thought it was kind of bad, but I realized it would just be my same criticisms of Ben Shapiro, and I think that's kind of worthless content when you can just go back and watch my previous video. You're not autistic, you're Lutheran. So as I discussed before, Reneem Zimmer is wrong that Lutherans are autistic, but they have autism and OCD. Okay, that's why, some Lutherans lean a little bit Reformed. And so some Reformed people, all Reformed people are autistic, but only some of them have OCD, and those are the ones who lean a little bit Lutheran, okay? So some Lutherans do have autism, it's true. Thoughts on the Terrifier film franchise? I have no idea. You're an honest one, you feel like you're a straw man. You feel like a black guy trying to be friends with white supremacists? Okay, here's the thing. What's funny, I know some incredibly racist people, but all of their friends are a different race, and it's so funny. Like, people call them racist, and it literally doesn't even matter. Lutheran equals blue. Blue equals Thomas the Tank Engine. That equals autism. Perfect. Which denominates OCD but not autism. So I would say half of Lutheranism is OCD without autism, and that's the one that's just purely Lutheran, and they just want to be Lutheran and completely detached from society and just be Lutheran. And the other half is split off, or not split off. The other half is it leans a little bit Reformed, and that's the Lutheran with OCD and autism. And I would say maybe I was gonna say Oriental Orthodox, but they're too Eastern to have OCD. It's probably like just Thomists. Thomists are autistic. They don't have OCD. I don't know. Okay, as a parody of a channel, you need advice. So me and your friends be making music. You still want to be a funny channel. Should you make a second channel or release funny music on your main channel? So what I would say, it's always fine to just keep adding more channels, but eventually you do have to centralize your content if you want to grow. And here's what I would say. You need to find a way to synthesize what you're doing. If you can make funny music, that's a real talent. That's kind of separate from making music in general. But if you can do that, you can build an audience. What kind of Christian are you? I am currently Reformed, although I am inquiring Lutheranism. Israel's best friend. Real. Thoughts on Anglo-Catholics? They're made up. They don't exist. All roads lead to Lutheran. Correct. I mean, yeah. It is kind of true. At least in my area, it is very hard to go to a proper Reformed church. So I'm at a schismatic church right now. And it's unfortunate. Who's currently correct over Ukraine? Here's what I think. I think Ukrainian Orthodoxy is correct. It's not Greek or Russian Orthodox. Side note, by the way, Eastern Orthodoxy has literally been bought out by Jewish Bolsheviks since at least the 1950s, even earlier, really. Like, Stalin took over the church, okay? If the head of your church is literally in Russia, and Russia, like, every priest was literally a communist spy for 50 years, and you're telling me your church didn't die out, like, oh yeah, sure, you survived that, but you're like, oh no, the Protestants are a little bit liberal right now, they don't count. It's like, your church was literally all communists. You thought you had Calvinism, but you might actually have Lutheranism. Calvinism, but you might have Lutheranism. Yeah, that's true. There is a little bit of different, seems that autism draws people to different types of theology. Yeah. I will be honest. There are some things that are easier to explain in Lutheranism, but I'm just not fully behind their view of predestination. It's a problem. Yeah, Reformed Catholic is pretty cool. Submit to St. Louis, real. Check out the album covers you made. I did look at the album covers you made. I think one of them was a Second Commandment violation, though. Not good, not good. Researching Presbyterianism. You went to a PCUSA church today. Very good, non-contemporary. Got cookies and brownies. What do I recommend? Just currently reading Confessions. So yeah, you should read the Westminster Confession, the Scots Confession, some of John Knox's works if you can. Let's see, Examination of Arminianism by Samuel Rutherford, and I think that's you're basically set to be Presbyterian if you agree with all that stuff. Um, yeah, I am definitely one of the most northern people you're gonna meet. Submit to Saint Bill Helmius, real. I miss Iron Inquisitor too. I hope in a couple of years his spiritual director does let him come back to his channel while he's learning to be a priest. I think he could be a great influence on people. Mecca Wilhelmius Fayum Diaper, real. Please figure out my voice and stick with it. No. Yeah, it's something to celebrate being a priest. Yeah. You made that the second commandment violation? It's like 1 in the morning? Real. Kick the southern accent, replace it with a Michigan one? No! We need more smart southerners, because there's like 3 of them. Can I stop schisming from my original voice? Okay, you know what? It's hard because I'm on camera and I start slipping into a voice, and I can't keep them consistent. Oh, okay. Apparently, I'm not gay. That's gonna be clipped out of context. As a Southerner, there's 2 smart Southerners. Real. There, my regular voice. I'm not going any further into my New York or my whatchamacallit accent. Sound like a hick? Who cares? Lean into it. Don't be a baby. That's your part of the country. You gotta believe in it. Believe in yourself. Wilhelmian accent? Yeah, the Wilhelmian accent is unique because it changes every 5 seconds. This is my natural voice. This is my natural radio voice, I will say. It's almost my natural voice, except I am speaking intentionally a little deeper because I don't like it when there's people in my comments afterwards going, I hope puberty gets you soon. Um, no. Marrying somebody who is the same sex as you is inherently disordered. It is against the teleology of nature, and it should be illegal. Wilhelmius found attending a pro-Confederate gathering shocking, emotional. I have a lot to say about the Confederacy. We'll maybe do on another stream. Maybe we'll do it on another stream, but yeah. I'm too quiet. Let me check my audio levels. If not, it might just be where my mic is. Probably really quiet now. 0 decibels. Hang on. Testing, testing. Is this louder? Hello? Testing, 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 testing. We're testing it live. Am I louder? Yes, no? What? I'm not louder? Am I louder now? How's it now? Okay, how am I now? Am I... You're all still saying no. Okay, I get it. You're all behind. Good. Okay, I'm gonna test something now. How am I now? I can only go so far. Alright, I'm gonna leave it on regular settings because at least you can hear me. I can't turn it up any further. Execute Order 66. Real. I might have to execute Order 66 on this stream. I gotta go read some books. I can't turn it up any further. Order 67, that's where they all hit the gritty. I, I don't have any music playing, do I? I almost played some music in the background, but I can never get them quiet enough. Am I close enough to the mic? Is this better? Is it better? Is listening to Kanye a sin? Yes. I can't turn it up any further if I wanted to. Sing some Gregorian chants? Okay. Give me a second, I'll sing some. Let me find the lyrics to one. Um which Gregorian chant should I sing? Alright people. I'm about to sing a Gregorian chant. All roads lead to Ohio. Real. Is my mic peaking when my mouth is right next to it?
My daughter is being treated for.
Sorry. That's an ad playing. I gotta look up a Gregorian chant singing tutorial.
Timea Deum omnes semen Israel, oniam non sprevit neque despexit deprecationem pauperi.
Alright. It is now 11:30 at night. I must go to bed. 12:30 actually. Listening to Kanye is a mortal sin. Until then, let's see, whose outro should I copy? Good night. Good night, everybody. Well, I managed to hold on to over 12 viewers the entire show, which means I must be engaging. Collab channel? I mean, if people want to make out of context. Good night, goodbye. We'll count down from 7. Alright. Good night. God bless everyone. Until next time, go serve your king. I'm not your Pokey Bear.